Alright, I guess I should start speaking and check this before I send it off to everyone. Should just be fine. Um, yeah, it should be fine. I don't think there are going to be any problems. It's all been fine the last couple of times I've done this, so obviously still no game audio, which is a bit annoying, but I don't know how to work out. Yep. Okay. Okay. Oh, I've already checked everything. I'm not even going to bother checking things again. Well, I will once we start properly, but uh, this should be okay. See when people start coming in. Um, let's see. Oh, it's gonna be an interesting one. Um, there's actually I haven't got. I don't think I've gone into any for a real chance, and knowing that there's just a risk here. It's just straight up. Yeah, you might not hit this range, and then you could lose them on. So it's gonna be interesting. Oh, I need to get my notes up on this. Side. Okay. Um. All right. Once people start coming in, I'm gonna do a little team reveal. Do it in stages. Make it a bit more hype because I think the team's kind of cool. Um. There's some heat into it. There's not loads. But it is 6 ones that aren't on the sheet. So um. I think I'll give it a minute. I'll start going through. Um. At the moment, all that's in my party is this Doug trio, which is not part of the team. Let me just check if I put super potions because amongst potions, I don't want to be healing all the way for some of these fights. Yeah, I got 21. That should be fine. Should be plenty. I've got normal potions. I don't, but I should have loads of berries if it comes to that. 20 orange. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw anything like that. No, you just saw the big boy stuff. I've already gone through all TMs and everything before. I've done all my items and everything. It's all going to be ready as soon as I pull these ones out of the box. Okay. I don't know if it's apparently YouTube's not getting the best stream. I apologize if there is like lag or anything. My connection is just not great and my laptop's not great, so it's just puts a bit of a strain on it. It's not always the best. Let's see. I guess I can start going through some of the squad. I think I made the clues too hard because there's a lot of weird stuff that went on here. I definitely had some misdirection in there. The first clue being Draco Malfoy. Last time I used it for a dragon type that like to use Draco Meteor, but we also know that like Draco is part of Slytherin. Slytherin snakes, Sandaconda, and what was my top middle? Cotton. Everyone thought Whimsicott. They forgot Ampharos. Iron Man. I mean, he's literally a metal man. Goldengo. The fire and blaze symbols. This guy, fire type, blaze ability. The bottom middle, it was the Legion of Doom, big superhero group. This Mousehold, if you've ever seen it in the VGC, this is an evil little group of mice. And the cavalry, Rapidash, big horse. That's the squad. No one's even in chat for me to get a reaction for debate. That's not the squad. I did have accidental misdirection. I didn't mean to have misdirection, but it's nothing like that. Goldengo didn't make the cut. That is one that people did think was coming, and I did think was going to be coming. I calced with it until right at the end. It's not coming. The first mon, which is based on Draco, it is not Hydreigon. It's not going to be dropping Dracos. Latias. Last from the first run, I used Latios as a Draco Malfoy clue because Latios, all it does is it comes in and it drops Dracos. It was bad, mate. There was no reaction. There was nothing to play off in chat, okay? But Latios is coming. I've already fixed the IVs on it. It actually came with max special attack and max speed. It's not going to be doing exactly the same role as what Latios did. It's going to be sticking around a bit more and you see leftovers and recover. It's going to be able to 1v1 a few more things rather than just coming in and nuking stuff. But that was the reason I went with Draco, because it was a little callback to the first E4. And Latias is my preferred of the Lati twins. Cotton, everyone knew. Whimsicott. Pranks the Fairy Encore. It's, you can see Air Balloon. Cynthia I did similar with Togekiss. Cynthia with Garchomp just becomes the freest thing ever. It never clicks Stone Edge because of accuracy. Unless you've got something that's really weak to Stone Edge and only Stone Edge, it's just always clicking Scale Shot, Earthquake. Whimsicott's going to always be able to come in on that and click Encore and just give free switches and free momentum. It does Encore in some other matchups as well, obviously, but it's not as heavy as what I've used it in the past. Unless I get every single team which is just Encore, but I don't think everyone is. What was the next clue? Iron Man. Iron Man was accidental bait. I tried to pick one out which had swords. I don't think many people picked up on it, although there was actually one person who I gave a preview and a teaser. They just gave a straight spoiler. Iron Valiant. There's a bit of similarity in the appearances of it. Obviously, Valiant also is kind of heroic. Iron Man is heroic. Is an Iron Hero. Iron Valiant. But yeah, I realized afterwards a lot of people thought that was a Goldengo, who is like a metal man. But that's why I tried to make sure it was one that had swords. It had a bit of a blade on its arm and a shield, which is a bit more like what Valiant looks like. I was originally going to go for some of the dual disc stuff, but it's more Mega Gallade. So, and I didn't find a good picture that kind of actually made it look more like Valiant. Next clue, I think this is probably the heater. And it's actually going to be really, really crucial to the E4. If anyone's been on Twitter at all with Legends CA coming out, you might have seen the what I showed, the two symbols, the symbols for fire and blaze. I think it's a kanji. They're supposed to be like the Mega Evolution and the base form of Pyroar. We're showing off Pyroar before it even gets its Mega. The normal typing is just so good. It's actually got a very good speed tier. Adaptability hits like a truck. Nothing can bad odds in on it. I have Hyper Beam on this the whole time, and half the fights, or not half the fights, but at least
2 or 3 of the fights are planned to end on Hyper Beam. Uh, it's quite funny. It's the only reason I can beat Calyrex on this team because I've not got a Dark Type, I've not got Sucker Punch. The baiting is going to be very specific. If I've messed something up, we will not win. Pyro is huge for this. The normal typing is huge for this. I really hope I haven't messed up the Calyrex routing because it will be very, very important. The next one was the Legion of Doom. And it's just simply, it's in the name, Legion, Basque Legion. This thing is unbelievable for for it could basically do any role you want in every fight. It's got a scarf here because it's going to be doing a lot of damage to Sydney and it beats multiple mons on the thing. Nothing can persuade odds in on it. The moves it gets, the adaptability. Second adaptability mon are ridiculous. Like, I mean, this set stays similar for most of the time, but if you ever some reason struggled with bad odds, you can have head smash on this thing. You've got the 2 tiers of like water like damage, like wave crash. I don't really ideally want to click it. It's there to prevent bad odds. Spirit shackle can be poltergeist, which is like 110 base power if I remember, and it's like to prevent bad odds, but it doesn't always even need it. If you wanted to on Glacier, Banded Aqua Jet KOs Darmanitan after the Life Orb chip, which is always going to get when you're switching in because you can switch in on basically anything. This mon's really, really good. The flip turns do a lot of damage, and we will be seeing that. It can be fast pivot or slow pivot with Scarf. A lot of the time, my other ones want Scarf, so it's going to be a slow pivot. It's really good. The HP value, the HP is just so high. It makes it so bulky. And then the last one was a picture of Cavalry. It's the Cavalry Pokemon according to the Pokedex. It's a Scavalier. This is also going to be huge. Shell armor is so nice. This has amazing coverage. It's a guaranteed Xerneas answer. There is no Xerneas, no matter what it clicks. If I switch on Geomancy when I'm holding an Ockerberry, it thinks Head and Power Fire KOs. If I switch in on Moonblast and I'm holding an Ockerberry, it thinks Hidden Power Fire KOs. It never actually KOs because of the berry, and it won't bad odds out because it has that kill. And it thinks it sees the kill through it ignores the berry. But with the berry, no crits, it can't ever kill. It's always safe. So that's the squad. I think it's pretty cool. There was a lot of mons which nearly made it and then didn't make it. I calced with Landorus for ages. I calced with Goldengo for ages, or not ages, but like they were. I went through all the checklists and everything like on the threats, and they kept coming up as like being like, oh yeah, that could work, that could work. Then when it came into actually maneuvering through the E4 and getting mons in, there was no chance I could do it with double ghost, double steel. Like I didn't have Latias at that point. I had like 1 water resist, and it was Basque Legion. So that's when I was like, oh, I need something that can switch on like Volcanion. Like, what am I doing against Volcanion if I've got like, yeah, okay, Landorus KOs it. How the hell does Landorus get in? Latias comes in on anything. It takes like 25%. It's got leftovers. It's got recover. It just 1v1s. It does over half with Thunderbolt. Like, thank you, Duck. So it kind of, I was just looking straight at, oh, what KOs, what KOs. I didn't have quite enough pivots in there, but now I do. And the way that the ones kind of pair together is really, really good. Pyro or Basque Legion are going to PP stall well, not PP stall, but they're going to pivot on multiple things and get like chip damage in for setup KOs. There is like one or two PP stalls, but like for like focus blast, it's like 5. Like so I mean, I think the way the team will show off, it is actually pretty splashable. Like, a lot of these things will work on any team. If you have a normal type, if you have a ghost type, it doesn't have to be these 2 mons. You can do similar strats. Like, that's what I was kind of looking at with the E4 this time. Yeah, Raptors, you got 6 out of 6. I saw it when you put the prediction on, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Because Max got close. Max got like 4 of them, and he was like kind of iffy on a couple of others, and then I kind of told him. I was speaking to him about some of the plans. but yeah, you just straight up went 6 for 6. And yeah, I think it's going to be the one problem is the gripper. Because I'm going to be using booster energy Valiant, which is so good for the gripper if it comes in once. But you can't stop the Gunadel coming in because even though you don't Oko the gripper, you have that bad type matchup, no super effective move thing. It's like it's a type matchup is 2.2. Fairy fighting into Ghost Dark, it's so barely over because of the immunity and then the two super effectives. So then I can't stop it. The first time, if I come in and I activate a booster energy, obviously knockoff doesn't do much, and then you get you always switching on knockoff of the gripper, and Spirit Break will 2 at KO. If it bad odds out, I have Moonblast, which is a 94% range to KO. But there's obviously that next time I come in, the booster energy isn't active. So we'll see if we get there. If we get that team, I should have. Yeah, I've got a couple of bits of pre-damage on here. I don't want to be healing that off. I should already have all the items are set, all the moves are set. Um, everything is ready to go. PP maxed. The only thing I need to do is to change the lead, I believe. Yeah, it should be Valiant on the lead here. And then I think we're going in. I'll save it here just in case there's anything weird. I haven't seen Valiant running around yet. But yes, Valiant is still a unique. It's not the highest damage dealer that I've used for restricted. It's not the craziest restricted I've used, but it's very good onto like just the generic mons. Like it it just completely destroys Sydney. Um, it's got some good tech into Spiritomb. It beats the Gripper if you can maneuver it. I mean, you probably don't want to be going for it because of the bad odds. But yeah, um, uh, yeah, we never click Encore. What fight is the first time we click Encore? Uh, we might not click Encore until Glacier, maybe. Uh, depending on what teams we get. Yeah, depending on what teams we get, we might not click Encore until Glacier. We might not even click. We click Glacier. We click it on both teams of Glacier, but only once on Snow. Only at the end on Snow. Whimsicott's not coming out for some of these fights. It's not. It's not all Whimsicott. But I believe I've got the free damage. I'm going to unbind Poker Vial real quick because I don't need that menu. I've got potions. Is that one? Well, I'm not gonna unbind it, but I'm just gonna take it to something that I don't usually click. So do that because I need to. Latias pre-damage is not for the first fight. Pyros is for the first fight. Latias is for the second fight, so I can't heal in between there, and I can't heal before champ, or I can't heal a Scavalier before champ. If we get there, because there is a very real chance that we lose Iron Valiant on Phoebe. Okay. I apologise for no game sound. I still can't figure out how to make game sound not be just ridiculously loud. So I just have to mute it. I'll try and figure it out at some point, but yeah, got Valiant in the lead. All the moves are set. Natures have been set. I did all this the other day. I never have an ability change on this E4, which is very new. They're very different to me. I usually have multiple ability changes. There's never any reason to. I'm never clicking Encore into Dark types or like Parting Shot or anything. It's just always U-turn. So I can keep Prankster. Obviously, you only get Levitate. Yeah, all the Tim's choice specs. You're just always just going to be adaptability. And yeah, Scavalier. Scavalier, you can go Brave. If you go Brave 0 speed, you underspeed Guzzlord in Trick Room, so you would technically outspeed everything, but you don't need to. Depends how your line works out. Scavalier can beat Guzzlord if you wanted to, but the main thing it's going to be doing, if I get Silly Trick Room, is beating the Grimmsnarl. It just switches in on Grimmsnarl, takes like 25% and then KOs it. So I do kind of prefer to see the Trick Room team, I think, here. I think it just shows off the Mons a bit different. I mean, Basque Legion gets to do stuff on both. It gets to do stuff on Tailwind, maybe more. Um, they're both pretty simple. There shouldn't be any problems here. Okay, let's go. Okay, so turn one, it's always the same. It's Spirit Break onto Moltres. With the booster energy, it always puts them in range. It always either knocks them down to Sash or it's a range, depending on which one it is. Okay. I would be faster anyway, so that doesn't tell me anything. Okay, so it didn't put it down to Sash, this is Trick Room. Okay. So, you might have seen there, Valiant also had Vacuum Wave. Spirit Break plus Vacuum Wave, no matter which one it was, will always KO here. Can't switch out. It's obviously under 50%. It's not going to click Sucker Punch. It actually sees air/kill. And yeah, so it can't even last time Sucker Punch. It should see fast kill. It thinks it's faster and it's going to KO me. So it should just be safe Vacuum Wave to KO. Okay. Oh, I can show off I can go onto the calc screen now and get this up here. Didn't want to spoil it when I did my terrible bait. So this is the second time in a row I've had Trick Room Sydney, maybe the third. Yeah, I'm Valiant. Oh, the sets are there for later thing. Let me just quickly import these because I went through and double checked lines and the other day. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see on that, if you can't really probably see the calc screen that well, but it's 90% into thingy into Vacuum Wave. It's always KOing, and this should just be Grimstyle because in Trick Room, it thinks it fast kills with Moonblast. Yeah. So yeah, even as base form, it thinks that it fast kills me here. Only with Moonblast. So it's always clicking Moonblast. We go straight into Assault Vestas Cavalier, and we tank this shit. We take nothing from this. Like, it's going to make Grimstyle look pathetic. That's it. That's all you take from Mega Grimstyle. This thing can be a demon. This thing is like one of the most underestimated mons in this E4. Like, this thing catches people out, especially with sheer force and eject button. Escavalier just tanks it, and then it just clicks double line bash, and it's just a KO. And again, there's no bad odds. The only one that it says it can do here is Victini. That's wrong because obviously there's Trick Room up, and I would fast 2-hit KO with knockoff on the Trick Room. Double Iron Bash, KOs. And that's probably the biggest Sydney threat, like just gone. I don't think I added the frag on here before. Oh, Valiant isn't even coming up properly on the calc, so that's fine. Okay, and now this should be Victini because it be the only thing that sees the note go into me. Its room service activates. Cavalier is still actually faster at the moment in Trick Room. This is always V-Create. We go into Basque Legion. There's a world that V-Create misses here. That's why I have both Aquatail and Wave Crash on this set. And after this turn is when Trick Room ends. Okay, it connects, which is fine because then they get the minus attack and defense drop. It doesn't crit, that's fine. It didn't matter actually either way. Defense speed drop, twisted dimensions return to normal. Victini now always wants to click Trick Room. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be able to click Trick Room. Once it's at minus defense and attack and everything, I can just click Aquatail to always KO it. Nothing can bad odds in on this. The one thing it says here is Guzzlord. I am pretty sure that this is an oversight on the calc. Their HGLA changed it for Life Orb calcing that it sees itself in 90% for Okos. I feel like it's not. I don't think it's seeing it for this. Because I don't quite do 100%, but it should be seeing itself as 90%, so it should be seeing that it's fast to it KO'd. It shouldn't be able to go to Guzzlord here. I don't know if it's going to be too much of a problem if it does. I think I've got enough in this fight because like two of the monsters don't even show up in this on Trick Room. But it should just be Aqua Tail KO. Yeah. Okay. And then obviously Trick Room's over now. We don't have to deal with Trick Room at all in the rest of the fight. The only Basket Legion's Choice Scarf, so it outspeeds everything. The one thing it doesn't, well, the one thing that sees a fast KO is Sucker Punch with Absol. Yeah, so Absol comes in. Just make sure that's on the count, on the frags. Absol comes in. It sees kills with both Night Slash and Sucker Punch. Obviously, it calcs everything as crits here. Night Slash and Psycho Cut, because of their high crit rate, Super Luck and Scope Lens are guaranteed crits. Sucker Punch is 50%, but it calcs them all as crits. It could be Night Slash or Sucker Punch, but because I'm faster, it will always be Sucker Punch. So we just switch to Iron Valiant here. And the Sucker Punch will fail. Okay, so we switched in on Sucker Punch. Even though that made it fail, it wasn't a move that made it fail. It wasn't a status move or anything that went before and made Sucker Punch fail. So then the bonds aren't the same. So Absol here sees that it's dead, even without the booster energy. It sees that it's dead, so it wants to click last chunk Sucker Punch. It only does 17% if it crits, so I'm just going to let that happen. It doesn't see a kill of anything, so it can never have the 80-20 slow kill chance. It's just Iron Valiant, Spirit Break here. And there's Sucker Punch. It does crit. Again, doesn't matter. Absol's down. Monkadori comes in. It sees a KO with Sludge Wave. There wasn't quite. I could knock off with Booster Energy with Evoke Code. Knock off without only prevents it from coming in. It's a fast 2-hit KO. So at the moment it sees Sludge Wave and Psychic KO in. It's going to go for Sludge Wave because of the poison chance. It doesn't care about the Def drop on KOs. It only cares about the status on KOs. So I can just go back to Escavalier. Escavalier again has a really ridiculous matchup into this. It takes 16% from a Psychic, and knockoff is a 2-hit KO. Sometimes a KO if it hit the range. I would rather not hit the range on this one and not waste my range luck. But it doesn't matter. It'll be fine either way. The only thing that's left in the back is the Guzzlord, and that can't come in here because it gets 2-hit KO'd by Escavalier. So yeah, just click knockoff. Goes to Psychic. Doesn't get the F drop. Wouldn't have mattered. Do we hit the range? Escavalier's feeling like he wants to hit the ranges. Okay. This Hope Valley is feeling like he wants to hit ranges. And Kadori's down. That was only a 31% chance. Okay. It's fine. It doesn't change anything. Guzzler comes in and it's always going to be clicking knockoff. It does see a kill with knockoff. If I took more damage, it would have seen kills with a couple of the other moves potentially. If I took another Psychic or if I clicked F dropped into Psychic again, but because of the scoring, it would always click knockoff, which is again just another free switch into Iron Valiant. It means that the Guzzle takes the Life Orb chip here, and then after Life Orb, without the booster energy, Spirit Break does 96%, so it's always a KO. Free Sydney. Oh, I did put that one on. Okay. Yeah, free Sydney. Nice and simple. And now I cannot heal Latias. Latias needs that little bit of chip. It needs it. So I've unbinded Pokevile. I just need to max potion the other stuff. There would be if I heal Latias, there's 2 rolls that could mess me up on this fight. If I get the Gengar, that is. If I get the Gripper team, it doesn't matter. If I get the Gripper team, then we're just playing the ranges. Pyro can now be healed. Pyro was for Delphox. I could basically, the first time Delphox comes in, it was always Mind Blown or Psychic, so I was going to go to Latias, and then it would always be Shadow Ball, so I was going to go to Pyro. If I was full HP, it would have been 50-50 between Psychic and Scorching Sands, but which is a bit awkward then to switch in on. I don't have a Dark type. I can give Whimsicott Air Balloon, but I was like, okay, so I need to guarantee Scorching Sands at that range. Scorching Sands keys KO, Psychic doesn't, so I could have gone to Whimsicott and forced the Delphox out so that it can come back in later on at a better time. Spyro can be healed. Latias cannot be healed. Okay. Let's come off that menu. Yeah, okay, cool. Moves don't change too much, but they will change. Who's the lead here? The lead is going to be Latias. Okay. So I'm just going to take the items off of everybody. And then I can put them back on so I know they're right. Oh, so we had Choice Specs Pyro there. It does make another appearance, but we didn't get to click Choice Specs Hyper Beam yet. I think we should. As long as we don't lose it early, we will be able to click it later on. Latias here is going to be Choice Scarf. And it can just KO both either lead. We are really, really hoping we see the Dragapult. Whimsicott is Citrus. It doesn't really do anything on either of these fights, so it's just there as a backup. Citrus. Iron Valiant is still Booster Energy, so I didn't actually need to take that one off, but it's fine. Pyro is Shed Shell. Pyro is absolutely huge for this fight. I really, really hope that I haven't messed up some of my should setups, because Pyro is going to be the most important, probably, member of the team on this fight. Basque Legion is leftovers. And that's part also, I want to avoid Gripper because of the range, but I also want to get the Gengar because Pyro Shed Shell means that I can show off the PP stall for Focus Blast there. Against Mega Gengar, where you usually wouldn't be able to switch out. You are still Assault Vest. Okay. Latias moves. I need to gain Psychic. I need to keep Shadow Ball, and I'm going to teach it Psy Shock. Didn't actually end up needing both, but it's going to be choice, so it can just have them. It's fine. Okay. I won't need to PP max those. Basque Legion. Shadow Sneak. The Basque Legion gets 2 forms of priority, Shadow Sneak and Flip Turn. I can get rid of Wave Crash on this one. And I want Flip Turn as well, which is only TM, I think. Yeah. And yeah, these Flip Turns do damage. This is basically 120 base power Flip Turn with the adaptability. These Flip Turns do damage. So it's Shadow Sneak, Wave Crash, Spirit Shackle, Flip Turn. Scavalier, I need to teach you Pounce. Just to 100% be sure that something is not going to be setting up on me. Pounce. And you don't need close combat for this, they are ghost types. Iron Valiant also gets 2 forms of priority. We saw Vacuum Wave, it also gets Shadow Sneak. And it also, like I said, gets it has good special attack. You could, in theory, run Valiant as a special attacker, or you could run it with like Choice Specs or something. I didn't find a use for it, but you do want both of these. We don't want knockoff, even though it's the ghost types. We want Moonblast. Yeah, it's mixed enough. It's 252, 235, and that's partly why I went naive. So I don't blow my special attack. Okay, Pyro. The only move you need to learn is Dark Pulse. You already have Snarl, which is very important for this fight, so you can lose Hyper Voice. And then that should be it. Latias is already done. Let's double check this. Latias has the pre-damage, Choice Scarfed, Draco, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Psy Shock. Yep. Whimsicott is Grass Knot, Moonblast, U-Turn, Encore. Yep. Citrus Berry. Yep. Iron Valiant is Spirit Break, Close Combat, Moonblast, Shadow Sneak. Yep. Still Booster Energy. Timid Shed Shell Pyroar, yeah, Dark Pulse, Overheat, Hyper Beam, and Snarl. Vascular Legion, Shadow Sneak, Wave Crash, Spirit Shackle, Flip Turn. It's holding the leftovers. That's Cavalier, Adamant, yeah, Shell Armor, yeah, Pounce, Double Iron Bash, X is a knockoff. Yeah, okay. I'll save here. Sydney's a fraud. I don't have to go back to him. And that should update my calc as well. Oh, I really hope it's not the Okie Dokie. I really hope it's not the Okie Dokie. If it's Okie Dokie, we start sweating. This is the first 50-50 we have to lose, potentially lose Valiant. Show me the poll. Show me the poll. It's the first 50-50. It has happened. Okay, Latias with Choice Scarf. There's no bad odds that can happen because it 2-hit KOs the Calyrex with Shadow Ball and is outspeeding it. This will update slightly in a second. It does this, yeah. We just KO this with Psyshock. It will last chance Mock Punch. I can click. What did I say? I click. Did I say I click Psyshock? Yeah. I mean, they both KO. Look how cute Latias's back spray is. Okay, took 40 damage. What is that? Is that a high roll? Is that? Did it? Oh, no, we took 33. Was that 250? So this isn't the matchup where the free damage mattered. That's fine. Okidogi is down. Again, I can't track the KOs with that. Okay. This is always the Gripper. Because of the Scarf, the Gripper comes in straight away for slow kill. It sees Shadow Punch and Knockoff. Knockoff isn't guaranteed, but because of the scoring, it's going to be Knockoff because it has the +2. It cares more about that than the guaranteed. So this is straight into Iron Valiant. And we're going straight into the next 50-50. If we lose this next 50-50 bad odds, then we are playing with Rangers. Oh, God. Okay. Let's get you ready. So Iron Valiant comes in on knockoff. This is why I couldn't be like Life Orb or Choice Specs that I always win it on the second time. It's always going to click knockoff. Being able to switch around on knockoff is just not a thing. I could have gone to Whimsicott here and U-turned, but then there's a risk of Iron Valiant getting Ice Punch, Frostbitten, and then you're throwing in more things, and there's just like more crits and stuff that can happen. This was the most consistent that I found. There's the booster energy. I take less knockoff damage. We're going to click Spirit Breaks. Yeah. Got a grip on me. I can't switch out. This Naganadel is faster. It OHKOs. There was no coverage that could show it a KO no matter what I did. After knockoff, you're always going to have to just take this. And like I said, I don't KO. I don't OHKO. Like, it doesn't hit the usual bad odds checks. But it does just about have a negative type matchup, and it doesn't have a super effective move for me. So it could switch out when I click Spirit Break here. It would be the second 50-50 we have to lose. Okay, we're not losing Valiant. Okay, now Spirit Break KOs. Ah, no tension here. So it was gonna. I originally asked someone to like work out the odds for this, assuming that Shadow Punch was going to crit to KO me. The second, because if I missed the range, I was going to take 2 Shadow Punches. At 121, Shadow Punch would have needed to crit to KO me. But if it had bad odds out, I would have took another knockoff, which would have done at least 19 damage. It would have put me down to 102. At that point, Shadow Punch is just a range. I think it got quite a good high roll actually on that first hit. So it would have just been a range. If I missed the range, he would have had a range. He would have had a really good range. So we were playing with fire there. That is not a consistent matchup. I had a 94% chance to 2-hit KO it if I had to come back in and start clicking Moonblasts. I basically just had to dodge I think it was like these the two bottom rolls. If I dodged the two bottom rolls both times, I was fine. If I hit anything from like roll 6 upwards, I was always fine. Um, like it was very, very in my favor, but it would have been very, very scary if we'd missed that. Um, okay, so I spent so much time on the bad odds line, I forgot what's happened in next. It's Calyrex in. So after Iron Valiant takes the KO, the only thing that's outspeeding me, or well, the first thing that's outspeeding me is Calyrex. And that also did. Calyrex didn't come in there because I have Shadow Sneak. So Calyrex wasn't a bad odds option because of Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is a fast 2-hit KO. So even though Calyrex had a fast OHKO, Shadow Sneak was fast 2-hit KO. It was never a bad odds option. But it will come in for post KO Prio because because it has the Focus Sash. Shadow Sneak is only a 2-hit KO. It will come in here, and it is completely random move. There's no benefit to any of these attacks, even though it can heal or anything. What the fuck? Okay, so something's messing up with Shadow Sneak here. Wait, that's crazy. This is crazy. The calc also recognizes it as this, actually. Hold on, that's crazy. So Shadow Sneak is messing something up here. Shadow Sneak's making it see a slow OHKO, apparently. That's really weird, because it doesn't... That's really, really weird. Shadow Sneak isn't even a KO. I don't know what I'm missing here. I don't know what I'm missing here at all, actually. Um, is this bad? No, it's still going to be Sludge Wave, which is what I would have expected later on. But it looks like we're steering, apparently. But why does it see Slow Kill? That doesn't seem right, does it? I guess it's because it's my highest damaging move. It's not just a move. It's not just that it's keeping out. It's the highest damaging move, so it messes it up. Yeah, it's only because it's the best damaging move. If I had knockoff on here that didn't actually break the sash, I think it would come in. Um, but because it's Shadow Sneak as the highest damage, it it skips it. I mean, the calc had that. I guess I should have trusted the calc a bit more. But yeah, that's a really weird one. It should be fine. Obviously, I had a line when Ganondorf comes in on this as a bad odds option. Um, I just have to check because Ganondorf was going to be actually taking some damage. Latias Okos, you don't, doesn't it? Yeah, so I think I can still do it fine. Yeah. It's still weird because it still just Okos me, even though I don't Oko it no matter what a sash or anything. But yeah, it's messing up the speed order interaction here. Um, I'm assuming that's a bug, but I don't know. Maybe I guess that doesn't feel like an intended interaction anyway. But it's fine. It's always Sludge Wave because of the poison. Everything sees a KO, everything sees guaranteed KO, but accuracy on Fire Blast isn't 100%. Sludge Wave can poison, so it chooses that over Draco Barrage. Or Draco Barrage also has recall. It's always going to be Sludge Wave, so we can just go to a Scavalier. That is what we would have done if it had bad odds in. And then it's going to be Fire Blast. And I will have to go to Latias on that and KO. That's going to be it. And then it's just going to skip a step. It's going to be Calyrex coming in after that, which should be fine. Yeah, so it should be fine. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We go to Scavalier on Sludge Wave. No, Calyrex can't bad odds, I don't think. Because they would still see that it's fast to hit KO'd. That's like the whole kind of thing that reason it didn't come in. I don't think Calyrex could have bad odds in there. It could just never bad odds in on Valiant because it always sees it's fast to hit KO'd. Okay, this is always Fire Blast. We go to Latias. We were, if in the original line of this coming in like this, going to be taking a -1 Fire Blast. Because it was going to hit, it's going to get hit by the Spirit Break. It still only does 15%. It shouldn't be a problem unless I start getting like multiple crits and burns here. It might even miss. Yeah, okay, it connects. And it doesn't burn. Okay, Draco Meteor, KOs, Choice Scarfed. I fast to KO everything before I lock in. This is just a KO. Latios drops its first Draco. And now I get the -2 special attack. Now it will be Calyrex for a slow kill with Astral Barrage. Okay, so a little bit off script. But basically, what I would have done originally when Calyrex was bad was a random move, was go to Escavalier. Which means it now has more HP if it comes up for something, which I don't think it does. And then once Escavalier takes one hit, it would always be Astral Barrage. It can always take one hit, and it can't set up because it sees that it's dead through the sash when it's on the board for setup purposes. It's kind of it basically sees that it can't set up, even though it has the sash. And I put Pounce on there as an extra way of doing it because it lowers the speed, and I show it at least a 2-hit KO. So then it thinks that it shouldn't set up because what if it's lower than me, kind of thing. That's one of the things I was asking Ghosty about. I'm not explaining the logic perfectly, but that is kind of how I translate it to make sense in my head. So yeah, this is Astral Barrage. Always sees KO. We switched to Pyroar on Astral Barrage because it is my normal type. And this is where things could get dicey if I've made mistakes. Okay. Again, it's Pyroar. Calyrex doesn't see a kill. Pyroar doesn't show a kill. Calyrex is faster. That means I don't slow Oko. I can't fast to it KO because I'm slower. Calyrex doesn't see a kill. It should click Nasty Plot. I need it to click Nasty Plot here. Really, really need it to click Nasty Plot here. Well, I say that. It shouldn't matter if it clicks Side Shock, as long as it doesn't get Max Roll Crit. As long as it doesn't get Max Roll Crit. As it clicks Nasty Plot, will be clicking Snarl to break the focus sash and make sure it's only at +1 instead of +2. Yes, there's the Nasty Plot. Okay, Snarl, 50%, +1. Now, Calyrex thinks that it's dead. It's still at +1, doesn't see Side Shock KOing, but because I now slow Oko, it will click Side Shock. It will go for the attack. Obviously, I'm not going to risk that. That could crit and kill me. We're going to go back to Latios on this one. What HP am I at? 179. Side Shock crit. Double check just because I took more damage than I expected to. 165. So yeah, if I'd got crit and burn, there was like a double crit line here that could have KO'd Latias. But this is always Side Shock. We switch to Latias. We take about 40%. On the other line, on the other team, this is the kill. This is the move that could have not put Latias in Gengar range because this would have been the first attack I took. There were 2 rolls of Side Shock that would have put Latias just above Gengar's Shadow Ball 9th roll if it had hit the 2 min rolls. But here it's just fine. I'm still fast to it KO and everything when I come in, so it can't bad odds even if I'm at like 1 HP. But this should just be about 40% damage on the Side Shock. Okay. And now that it's under 50%, Latias' Choice Scarf, Shadow Ball will just KO it. Okay, cool. Demon down. Demon down. Now this should see all these ones are dead. So the next thing that will be seeing any kind of KO is Annihilate with a slow Oko. Rock Slide does not see a KO. So if I'd been crit, I would have had a bit of a 50-50 here. I would have had to do a pivot first before I take Rage Fist guaranteed. We're fine. It's going to be Annihilate, but it's going to click Rage Fist. Yeah, sees a KO, so it doesn't want to set up, it wants to take the KO. On Rage Fist, it's a ghost move. What do you think we do? We go to our normal type. Our full HP normal type, by the way, because we baited Nasty Plot. Which means that because we didn't take damage on Calyrex, this can't be Rock Slide. It's always Drain Punch, which just barely sees a KO. It wouldn't set up anyway because I fast to it KO with Overheat, but it thinks it KOs with Drain Punch. So it's not going to switch or anything, it's going to go for this KO. Fighting type move. Let's go to my Ghost type. Just 3 switches, get the position in, take an extra turn. Okay, now Basculegion would take 60% from a Rage Fist. A crit does 89%. Overkill is showing up here as a potential switch in for midterm prio for bad odds, but that's just saying it's a candidate. It's not saying the Annihilate wants to switch in. The Annihilate doesn't want to wants to switch out. The Annihilate doesn't want to switch out because it does more than 50% on its move. It's slow O-code by Spirit Shackle, although technically no, it's not because the ninth roll doesn't show it, so it shouldn't be able to bad odds out on that. But either way, it does more than 50%. And it's going to click Rage Fist here. Originally, I flip turned here. When I first did the line because I was like, oh, I might need Basque Legion HP. I flip turned and then Valiant was going to kill it, but I can just skip a couple of steps here and just KO it with Basque Legion. Spirit Shackle is a range, but I have Shadow Sneak to follow it up. And I'm slower, so I'm not going to boost Rage Fist damage. It's always just that 60% or max 90% on the crit. Yep. Spirit Shackle. Do we hit the range? Okay, now that's a stupid range. That was a 12% chance. There were 2 rolls there. You didn't need to hit that one, but okay. It wouldn't have changed anything. Oh, actually, I would have got an extra turn of healing. Damn it. No, it's fine. It doesn't actually matter. Overkill comes in. It's always going to be clicking Throat Chop into this. Overkill is a little bit of a pain to root. My best damage into it is Pyro. It is Hyper Beam, just 84%. Right now, I'm dead to Throat Chop. It's always going to be clicking Throat Chop. I am slower. I can't flip turn out. I have to hard switch. On Throat Chop, I go to Whimsicott. This is all Whimsicott does on this fight. And it's going to trigger 1 Life Orb. Take about 30%, trigger a Life Orb. Okay, Whimsicott is faster. So, Whimsicott is only baiting Gunk Shot. Even though it can miss, it takes 394%, so it's baiting Gunk Shot. Whimsicott, with U-turn, not Intimidated, does 9%. With U-turn, with Intimidate, it still would have done 7%, which would have been that little percentage that we needed. But we can't go straight to Pyro because it's Gunk Shot. If Gunk Shot crits, Pyro would be dead. So, we go to Escavalier first. We U-turn to Escavalier. And that's the chip I need for Pyro to kill. But like I said, that doesn't position Pyro for it. We go to Scavalier first on the immunity. The Fairy weak mon, the Poison weak mon have a Steel type in the back. Now it's always Throat Chop for highest damage. Scavalier is somehow at full HP. It was supposed to have taken something at some point, but this thing, yeah, it didn't want to take any damage. I could technically go for this as a 1v1 and just double Iron Bash if I really wanted to. And if Throat Chop doesn't get a high roll, then I would be out of range. But we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to the plan. We are going to end this with Pyro, because this is always Throat Chop. Pyro lives a Throat Chop crit. And there was a part of me there was like, oh wait, am I using a sound move because I sometimes had hyper voice on my set? I'm not. It's fine. It's always Throat Chop. Pyro switches in. And now Pyro can take the damage. There's another Life Orb chip just in case. So at the moment it's actually in overheat range. We do not click overheat. We are going to click Hyper Beam. I'm just going to be ultra safe and check that it has been boosted to 100%. Yeah, because I'm sure it's 90% on vanilla. But I did check that before anyway. We are ending this fight with a Hyper Beam. Every 10-year-old child is currently really excited because that is what they always love to do. The 10-year-old child inside all of us. We get to click Hyper Beam. And that's Phoebe done. That was hopefully the only risk. We didn't hit the bad odds, so. But like I think that fight is kind of one of the ones where you're very clearly like if you have a steel type, if you have like something that's weak to poison, you have a steel type. If you have something that's weak to like fighting and ghost, and you have normal and ghost types, the fight becomes so free. If you have like a really good dark resist, or I don't think that you can't get dark immunity even with abilities or whatever, but like Valiant resists it 4 times, like you have so much freedom in switching round. Like I had like an extra switch and stuff that I wasn't expecting, and I mean, I've got 2 mons to pretty much full HP, and like, I could have switched between Pyro and Basque Legion forever on some of those. If Gengor was there, I had the Shed Shell to do that. I had Shed Shell Pyro, was obviously always baiting Focus Blast. Vascular Legion was always baiting Shadow Ball. Ghost types can switch out, so I was going to be able to PP stall Shadow Ball, Focus Blast. So then Gengar doesn't see a KO with Sludge Wave on Pyroar. I was going to be able to do the little snarl trick again, because Gengar then wants to click Nasty Plot. So I was going to snarl it as it clicks Nasty Plot. So then it goes down, then it sees Sludge Wave KO and it sees that it's dead. So it clicks Sludge Wave, and then I get that next switch, because I can still switch again. I can still switch as many times as I want with Shed Shell. I get that next switch into a Scavalier, and then Scavalier was going to be able to KO the Gengar. I didn't need to, but yeah, like the pairings of type-ins is so big for this, like for this E4. And I now can just Pokeball freely, which is on this one. I can Pokeball freely, can't I? Yeah, that's not that one. Yeah, Glacier, I want to be at clip 4. Okay. Lead is going to be Pyroar. I'm going to take all the items. No, you're Scarf anyway, aren't you? Yeah, you're still Scarf. Oh, no, you have Shed Shell 4. Yeah, okay. I'll just take everything off. I think now that we're through that, I think it's okay. As long as I haven't missed anything. That was the one thing I was like, oh, I could lose Valiant here, and if I lose Valiant, it does make some of these fights a lot harder. I didn't bother to go through all the exact lines. I would have had to just steer it if I'd lost Valiant. I think I do have a bit of freedom. Oh, sorry. I held items. I do have a bit of freedom on some of the fights. So a couple of ones aren't actually being used, so I might have been able to kind of just shove them in Valiant's position. But it wouldn't have been simple at all. I think I probably would have lost on Champ Fight. I don't think I have the damage on Champ Fight without Valiant. I don't know why I keep taking the booster energy off, because you are just booster energy until Champ Fight. Which might seem a bit weird, because obviously Life Orb does the same thing and it means Valiant only comes in once, but it actually just works fine. And it's kind of better for some of these fights. Obviously it was better for the knockoff. Yes, it goes to leftovers. Vascular Legion is now Assault Vest, because this thing can do anything. It can be bulky, it can be slow, it can be fast, it can do damage. I actually really think I would prefer to see the Sun Team here. There's one weird term of Curem which I think is potentially going to catch me out. I don't think it's going to catch me out. I think it's fine. But the Sun Team, I just want to show how much that Vascular Legion does to how it matches up into Reshiram. And then I'm on a Scavalier. Scavalier is just a Citrus Berry. Okay, moves. You need Scorching Sands and Flamethrower. So the Snarl Tech was really good though. The Snarl Tech kept the threats in check for that, and it was always going to set up on me. So it was like, okay, I need to let it set up so I get some break the sash. I get this bit of chip so that the next one can KO it. But I couldn't do like Bulldoze, because then it wouldn't click set up, because it would think it's going to get KO'd afterwards, or it could get KO'd afterwards and stuff like that. So I had to have a way to manage the damage on that. And there was a bit of risk of like double crits or triple crits would have killed me, but it was mostly like fiction, other than the Valiant range into Gripper. Okay, Whimsicott. So I don't know if anyone noticed when I was flicking through Whimsicott's stats, those IVs aren't maxed out. Those IVs, 30 defense, 30 special defense, 30 speed, are for Hidden Power. And it is Hidden Power Rock. For Glacier Sun, there is going to be some Encore. First use of Encores. Look, I haven't Encored yet. Glacier Sun is the first use of Encore. If I hit it, I can get a Grass Knot. And I need Hidden Power Rock so that it's not Charizard coming in. Charizard either gets to it KO'd fast to it KO'd by Whimsicott if I have Hidden Power Rock. So it makes it go somewhere else, which is much more preferred. Check the choice scarf. Yeah. Hidden Power Rock. I've given you the items. Yeah. Okay, Valiant. You need Spirit Break, Close Combat, Vacuum Wave, and then anything. So you can keep Moonblast on there if you want. Actually, I think I was just going to keep Shadow Sneak. I think. I need Vacuum Wave. So against Sun, I don't think Valiant comes out at all. Against Snow, it's really good. I've got the Pyro sets fine. Latias, oh, your set's completely different. So you keep Draco, you keep Psychic, but you need Thunderbolt and Recover. And I need to PP max Recover because there is a chance that I have to press it a few times. I will do that first before I teach Thunderbolt because otherwise I will forget. Okay. Basque Legion, Jolly Assault Vest, you need Flip Turn instead of Shadow Sneak, and then your moveset. Also needs. Oh no, you got Flip Turn, you need Aquatail instead of Shadow Sneak. Because if I have to click an attack, I'd rather it not be one that takes recall. Okay, that's fine. Assault Vest. And then a Scavalier, Citrus Berry. I need to delete Pounce. Because I don't want the QRM to think that it cannot set up on me. I want it to set up. It doesn't matter what I put on there. It can be close combat. That's fine. And then we'll be ready. I'll double check it, but I think then we're ready. Okay, Pyro, Timid, Joy Scarf, Scorching Sands, Overheat, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Hidden Power Rock, Moonblast, U-Turn, Encore, Close Combat, Spirit Break, Vacuum Wave, yeah, that's the most important moves, Boost your energy, Draco, Cyclic, T-Bot, Recover, Leftovers, yeah, Assault Vest, yeah, we're fine. We're good here, we're good here. In case the game crashes or something, I will save. Okay. Pyro is leading, Pyro is Choice Scarfed. Pyro has the moves it needs. Okay. And this has been updated on here. Okay, Glacier, what have you got for me? Let's see. Let's see what Ninetales you've got. Snow. Okay. You don't get to see Basque Legion do 30% of Reshiram with a flip turn then. So yeah, Basque Legion into Reshiram, I'll show it quickly on the calc. The first time it comes in on it, the sun would be up. With Assault Vest, it takes 34% from Dragon Pulse. It deals, with the sun, it doesn't deal very much, but it does 30% with a flip turn. It does 55% with a wave crash. This isn't max attack. This isn't like plus attack. There's no attack boosting item. It's just Assault Vest. It does 30% on a flip turn. Like that's not insignificant shit. It would have meant that like Latias Draco Meteor always KOs. It does 76% without boosting items again. Like, and it's a slow flip turn. It's just always safe. And I was going to be like switching in on Aura Sphere because of Pyro's fighting weakness. Again, having the fighting weak Mon, having the Ghost type. Like Basque Legion, seeing that on Basque Legion was crazy. Like even in Sun, like Fusion Flares 30%. Like Dragon Pulse being the highest damaging move. And if you have a Fairy type, you could just go straight into that. Like you know it's always Dragon Pulse there. It doesn't set up because it's faster. At first I was like, oh, it clicks Flame Charge. It's got should set up. It's true here. It doesn't need to because it's faster and Flame Charge is a little bit different. But that matchup was just silly seeing that in the calcs. It's not going to be able to show it off. I think this team is a little bit. This team's a little bit more just switch and kill. This line, like the other line, it's about 27 turns because a few encores and recovers. This line apparently has 15 turns. This is going to be a bit of a massacre because Pyro, Choice Scarf, I just click Overheat and a KO here on the Ninetales. Nothing can switch in because I have Scarf Hyper Beam, obviously Hyper Beam adaptability, fast to it goes, everything. This is just Overheat KO. And we're playing in snow. You might have noticed that I'm not stalling the snow. We are playing in snow. What will be coming in here is Volcanium because it's the first thing that sees a slow Oko. Bomber Snow with Earthquake. I actually still thinks it dies, which it actually does still die, which is quite funny. Doesn't KO. Curem doesn't do any Okos. Because it calcs with 4 hits for the switch ins. Wait. 4.5 for switch ins. It doesn't see a KO. That would have could have caught me out, you know. Um, but yeah, if it calced with 5, it would have seen it, but it doesn't calc with 5. I don't remember if I checked that or not. I just kind of assumed it was always Volcanion here. That might have been bad. Actually no, because it would have been guaranteed Scale Shot or Dragon Dance. So I would have just gone Whimsicott and I would have clicked Encore. It would have been fine. But yeah, it should be Steam Eruption. It should be Steam Eruption Volcanion. Cool. So this is one of the reasons I brought Latias. I needed water resists. I needed fire resists. Latias is going to switch in here. It's only going to take about 25%, and it's going to be able to outheal with like recover and leftovers. Okay. Oh, we got the burn. Got the burn first time. It shouldn't matter. It just means that my leftovers basically gets negated. Darmanitan technically can switch in here as a switch in, like a mid-turn one. It thinks it wins the matchup. It would win the matchup, but Volcanion has no reason to switch out because it's neutral type matchup. So it's not the type matchup thing, and it doesn't get O-code. But once I click T-Bolt here, it's going to do over 50% anyway. So then it can't bad odds out after that. I do click T-Bolt on the first turn, yeah. So like now, Latias takes another hit. This is just 50-50 Steam Eruption and Sludge Wave. That is better for me. Latias takes another hit. At this range, something probably could switch in and win the matchup. But Volcanion is under 50%, so it never matters. I'm going to click Recover once to try and be as full as I can. Obviously, the burn is going to stop me from being that full anyway. The next time I click Thunderbolt, it is going to KO. So maybe I'll click Recover a couple of times to see if I get Steam Eruption again instead of Sludge Wave. The snow tones don't matter here. But it's fine. 156 is fine. That's not even that. That's not 156. Has Latias ever come back in? No, Latias is done. So that's fine. It's going to be Darm coming in. So it's going to be fast KO coming in. I'll just make sure I'm outside of the Bomb Snow Ice Shard range, which I'm pretty sure I always am, no matter what happened here. I am. Curem is slower, so it's going to be Darmanitan, and at this range, I'm going to stay at 156. It never sees Flare Blitz, and it would always be Ice Cold Crash anyway. So I will just Thunderbolt KO. Alright, stay at 156. That is fine. So yeah, Darmanitan, Icicle Crash. And Pyroar, my go, only takes 44% from an Icicle Crash. So Pyroar can switch straight in. Darmanitan takes a Life Orb chip. Overheat does minimum 93%. And again, doesn't matter what HP range Pyroar is at, even if it's crits or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's always showing fast to it, KO to everything. Overheat before it locks into something. Overheat is a KO. And this is the second to last turn of Snow, I believe. But it's irrelevant anyway. So yeah, Pyroar was my Darmanitan counter. Who would have thought that, huh? There's no rock type or anything on this team. It was Pyroar. The other, I think, on Glacier Sun, I get in on from Encore for free. But this one, I just switch in on Icicle Crash and just KO it. And I'm pretty healthy as well. So this is always Electivire Mach Punch, fast KO. It's the only thing that outspeeds me because of obviously I outspeed everything else. So this is the only way it sees a fast KO. It's Mach Punch, and this is always Mach Punch because it's slower than me. It's a guaranteed KO. It's always Mach Punch. Priority comes before any guaranteed KOs anyway, but it's always Mach Punch. And again, you might think, oh, he's got a Ghost type. This time I'm not going to because I don't have an Electric type switch in. Because if I went to Basket Legion on Mach Punch, yeah, that's a free switch in. I don't take any damage. But then what am I taking the Plasma Fists with? I'm not taking the Plasma Fists. We're going straight to Valiant. And then this is the last turn of Snow, which is important-ish. As long as it ends, that's all that's important. Mock Punch, 14%. Yep, Snow stopped. Okay. It could have stopped after this turn, it would have been fine as well. So Valiant now has some really, really cool interactions here because Electivire still thinks Electivire obviously just Mock Punched for a KO. Now it's going to Mock Punch for last chance. Valiant, Spirit Break, always KOs here. And with the booster energy, now that Snow is down, it technically it KOs everything. It shows 9th roll KO to everything. Curem, guaranteed dead to close combat. A Bomber Snow, Calcs with Snow, it's dead to close combat on the base form. So it's just going to default to the back after this. There's the Mock Punch. There was a world where, actually no, I think even if I got crit both times on there and I get crit with this next move from a Bomber Snow, I think I would have been fine. This is never going to change anything. But I did have to check that because there was like a world where I was like, do I die to this? But I don't. So it's going to go to a Bomber Snow thinking that everything's dead. It's just going to go to the back. And a Bomber Snow comes in here. Obviously the snow goes up. It thinks it's dead. It doesn't see any slow KOs. Woodhammer is its highest damage move, does 53%. It doesn't realise it's going to Mega and outspeed me. It's going to click Last Chance Ice Shard. When it Mega Evolves, it actually probably lives this close combat. But it clicks Ice Shard. So I can just click close combat. And we'll see. If I hit this range, if I hit this 6% range, that's funny. There you go, Ice Shard. 25%, sure. Close combat, I'm at -1. We don't hit it. 93, max damage 93 at -1. So it doesn't see an Ice Shard KO, it sees KO with every other move. So here it's going to be 50-50 Ice Hammer Earthquake. It doesn't realise that I can just KO it with a Vacuum Wave here. It doesn't care about that because it's faster. There's no last chance in play here. This is a Vacuum Wave KO. We get to style on the Obama Snow. In Megas, should be able to beat me. It couldn't. Now the Curium comes in, and unfortunately, with the snow up, I was nowhere near stalled in this. With the snow up, I don't Oko anymore. And this is 50-50 Fusion Bolt or Icicle Spear. We're going to a Scavalier here. And this was a bit of an awkward endgame that I couldn't quite work out at first because a Scavalier outside of snow has a 94% range. Okay, it's Icicle Spear. Let's see if it hits 5 times. I don't think it matters. Okay, it did hit 5 times. Right, let's just put this up here just in case. I'm sure it doesn't matter because I'm over 50% still. Okay, so yeah, the highest, what it sees now is that its max damage is 112 Fusion Bolt. Obviously, but it sees all of them should be equal hits to KO. And the snow's still up. So if the snow wasn't up, I had a really good range to kill. I could have been like Metal Coat, and I would never be dead here. And I would have KO'd it. With the snow up, it goes down to there, and I can go Choice Band and be like, oh well, I have a range to kill, but it's really awkward. So what I had to do was, because if it's Choice Band here, then like, I could take the range. I'm not going to die to this hit, but then what am I going to do afterwards? It's random move. I don't have something that can sit on anything here, because everything on this team dies to one of these hits, depending on the damage rolls or the loaded dice hits or crits. And then I realised if I don't have a boosting move, I don't show it KOs here. Should set up is true. So I went Citrus Berry. It could have been any item. It could have been no item. And it's actually going to click Dragon Dance now. And again, after Dragon Dance, it's random move. So I don't. It's actually, I think it's guaranteed Fusion Bolt. Oh no, that doesn't even. It's not even guaranteed KO. Yeah. So with the way that the rolls worked, it's random move with Dragon Dance. With at +1. So I don't want to stay in here. If I've got this wrong, it's just, and it's a 1 in 3 attack. I don't think it is. I don't slow Oko. Like, it doesn't see a KO without this boost. It should be clicking Dragon Dance. If I got this wrong, there's a chance that Whimsicott dies. It's a 1 in 3. This is going to be the first use of Encore if it clicks Dragon Dance. But it should set up. It should be Dragon Dance. That's why I didn't go Choice Band. Yes! Okay. We win. We just Encore. It's faster than me. We just Encore. We're Prankster. Phew. Okay, so yeah, that end game I couldn't quite. It took me a little bit to figure out. I couldn't quite like lock it in of exactly what was going to happen and how I could maneuver it to be perfect. But the Moonblast 2 hit KO, so I've just got to make sure that the Encore doesn't end here. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But I can just click it again if it does. Yep, that one could end in Moonblast. Okay, Curium down. Glacier down. That's the first use of Encore, and I didn't even use it for 3 switches. I would have used it if it was Reshiram. I would have used Dragon Pulse Encore at least twice. I haven't even used it yet until Cynthia. Cynthia is an Encore fight. It's just loop Garchomp and Encore. But that was a very just standard straight up Glacier Snow. It was what? I mean, it didn't use Basculegion. It barely used Whimsicott. That's pretty good Glacier Snow. That's pretty good. Pretty clean. Just 15 turns straight up. We can heal again. We can Pokefall. It's fine. Okay, set up for the next fight. Cynthia is the free one, I'll be honest. Cynthia was very, very simple to figure out because of Encore, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, so Basculegion's leading. It's leftovers, which it should have anyway. No, it has a Assault Vest. Okay, let's just take everything off. You can keep Air Balloon. You can keep Booster Energy. Let's not take everything off. We don't have to do that, do we? You're still Choice Scarf as well. Okay. There you go. Alright. Basculegion. You need leftovers. Whimsicott's Air Balloon. Your Booster Energy. You are Sold You just because I can flex and it does the same thing as any other item here. I get to use Sold You in my Elite Four this time. All it does is power up Psychic and Dragon type moves, so and it does it by 1.2. It used to be so broken. Generation, I think it's Gen 3 when it got introduced. It would just straight up 50% special defense or something, 50% special attack and special defense or something. Like it was just a built-in Calm Mind or something like that. Yeah, it was really broken. They've nerfed it to hell because it was the most broken item ever. It's just going to be like an expert belt here. It's just going to make my Psychic and Dragon moves stronger. That's all I need for this one. The moveset is the same, actually. Pyro stays Choice Scarf. Escavalier becomes Okaberry. Because it's going to beat Xerneas, even though it's 4 times weak to Hail, Power Fire. Movesets. Aqua Tail, Wave Crash, Built Shackle, Flip Turn. Yeah, okay. You're set. Hidden Power Rock can go. I don't need that anymore. I have to delete Moonblast. That is key for this fight. I have to delete Moonblast. So let's just give you a couple moves that are going to be setting you up for later on. U-turn, Encore, and I can give you Grass Knot. It doesn't actually matter what your last attacking move is, but Grass Knot was the one I was like, oh yeah, sure, that works. Okay, so your moves are Grass Knot, Fake Tears, U-turn, Encore. Yep, okay. Iron Valiant, Spirit Break, Close Combat, you need Thunder Punch and Poison Jab. Okay. And this was actually the first fight that made me put Valiant in because I started to calc this fight, and I was like, huh, how do I kill Spiritomb? Straight up, I had Landorus and everything. I was like, wait, yeah, because basically my lead thought was, oh, Basculegion is always going to bait Poltergeist. I can switch into something without an item. Everything had a bad odds. This Cynthia is such a demon for bad odds. And then I was really like, oh, Valiant, Fairy type, Booster Energy, doesn't care about Poltergeist. I still get the item boost. And with Booster Energy, after it activates, there are no bad odds on that first time. With Poison Jab and Thunder Punch, no bad odds possible. Even Close Combat shows a kill to Zamazenta because it doesn't see Dauntless Shield. Yeah, your moves are fine. Pyro. Yep, your moves are the same there, and your moves are the same. I am on Cynthia, yeah. I was getting a bit worried I wasn't on the right fight there because so many of the moves are the same. Leftovers, air balloon, booster energy, soul dew, choice scarf, ockerberry. Okay. Basque Legion, let's go. I'm sorry there's no Cynthia sound here. It would blast your ears off if I turned it on. Um, let's go. So, I get intimidated off the bat. That's why you can't lead with something like Valiant that would just match up into it. It doesn't work. You would lose to the Intimidate. But Basque Legion, Intimidated, flip turn, does 25% neutral hit. Spiritomb is a defensive demon, so that's 25% at -1. It's always Poltergeist here. It doesn't see the KO, but it's highest damage, and there's no. I don't show it any KOs or anything, so it can't click Sucker Punch. So I just flip turn safely. If I wanted to, I could have hard switched. It doesn't actually change. Valiant has a 100% range after booster energy. So yeah, Poltergeist. On when I switch Valiant in, it consumes the booster energy, so it has no item, which means it takes no damage from this Poltergeist. Yep, Poltergeist fails, and Spirit Breaker is 100% KO. There is no bad odds here. Heatran dies to close combat. Cramorant is fast to get KO'd. Zamazenta, which is the one you would have. Actually, Zonius is probably maybe the one you would have expected to be able to come in. Poison Jab, after the booster energy boost, is over 50%. Spirit Break is also, to be fair. Spirit Break also stopped it. Garchomp obviously loses to this. Zamazenta was the one that you might think, oh, surely that can switch in. Nope. It sees that it gets KO'd by close combat before Dauntless Shield, and it doesn't calc with Dauntless Shield for switch-ins. So Spirit Break is a KO here. There's the last chance Sucker Punch, which I was accounting for. Just forgot to mention it. It always goes Sucker Punch there, it does 7%. It's irrelevant. Spiritomb's down. And now because it's post KO, the first thing to see a fast kill, the only thing to see a fast kill, is Zamazenta with Behemoth Bash. And when it sits on the field, I can't KO it anymore anyway. But yes, this is always Behemoth Bash. It sees the kill. Always Behemoth Bash. So we go to Basque Legion. Go back there. Ghost types are really good in Zamazenta. Really good in Zamazenta. Especially if you resist still, which Basque Legion does. Just do about 30%. We have leftovers to recover any little bits. Okay. And now this is one of those matchups where no one really does anything to each other. So the AI thinks it should set up because I have physical moves, it has Iron Defense. Iron Defense is the same as most setup moves, except I think it has that clause of, oh, if they have a physical move. So instead of clicking Play Rough or anything here, it just wants to click Iron Defense. Basque Legion is going to be flip turning out. This chip is important. So at the moment, so say I was to take a Play Rough and I went -1 attack because for some reason it doesn't actually set up, which is then what it would be clicking. Flip turn. If it got Play Rough attack drop, we'll do 10%. If it clicks Iron Defense, it's going to be +2 plus the Dauntless Shields. So flip turn, it's going to be doing 9%. Either way, it's going to be doing at least 9%. That's all I need. There's the Iron Defense. And we are going to be going to Pyroar. And Overheat does minimum of 93.8%. And with a Choice Scarf, I outspeed, I show everything a fast 2-hit KO, including Heatran. Actually, no. Heatran is a fast 3-hit KO, but it can only 2-hit KO me. Everything else is fast 2-hit KO'd. I could, if Heatran didn't have the air balloon, it would have been fast 2-hit KO, but we just click Overheat and we KO. Zamazenta down, just like that. All it did was one Behemoth Bash did about 30%. Pyroar takes another one. Another demon. Pyroar takes another demon. And now, I wonder what's going to come in if you're a fire type. What might be the first thing that sees a slow Oko on a fire type? And this is where the fight gets a little bit silly because we start doing encore stuff. We go to Air Balloon Whimsicott and we can always always switch in on Garchomp. It gets a little bit silly here. I know, but this is the only fight I've abused Encore properly. Clicks Earthquake. We're immune because of Air Balloon. We click Encore. It now has to switch out. The first thing it switches to is going to be Heatran because of the best type matchup and super effective move. So we will be U-turning as it goes to Heatran. And on Heatran, I will be going to Basculegion again. And the reason I run Jolly on Basculegion is that it outspeeds Heatran by 1 point. Originally in the line, I edited this afterwards. I originally was going to flip turn here because Heatran should be clicking Will-O-Wisp. It doesn't see KOs. Will-O-Wisp is going to outscore it because it can burn me. That's Flash Fire boosted. It does not do that much damage. But then I realised I don't actually need Basculegion ever again. And part of the reason I was going to do this flip turn was I was going to go into Pyroar. After the balloon, obviously the balloon's broken, I was going to flip turn into Pyroar, and then Pyroar was going to bait EQ from Garchomp. Basculegion baits EQ from Garchomp, so all I have to do here is actually Wave Crash. KO the Heatran. Same thing, it just skips a little turn, and potential for me to have got something wrong. Yeah, so 211, Fast Oko with Earthquakes. Not quite guaranteed, but it sees it for the 9th roll. It was always going to see it after the Wave Crash recovery. I've calced that out with Behemoth Bash and the Wave Crash recall. It was always going to see Earthquake. If it didn't, it was still going to come in for Fast to KO. Xerneas does less. It's the only other thing that was going to be kind of similar. And because Xerneas does left, there was never because Xerneas does less with Moonblast. There was never going to be like that weird range where it was like, oh, can it go to Xerneas if it doesn't do this much? Garchomp in the Mega form is always going to be the one coming in here, and it's always clicking Earthquake. Means we always go back to Whimsicott. We click Encore on the Earthquakes. And the second thing that comes in is going to be Xerneas. For some reason here it says that it's going to be Cramorant, but this is telling me now that it's Xerneas. Which does make sense, there's no type matchup here. I might have messed this up slightly, actually. So this is actually going to be technically a little bit of a steer here. So this is a little bit awkward, because if it is Xerneas... Well, I'll click U-turn here and we'll see. If it's... I think it's actually... Why would it be... Oh, it's going to be go on... No, this... the calc is wrong. The calc is wrong. This is going to be Cramorant. Watch the calc be wrong. Yes! I knew it. Okay. The reason it's Cramorant is on midterm prio. The next check after type match, if nothing has super type good type matchup and super effective move or good type matchup, it goes to defensive check. That is why I had Grass Knot. It did matter. Grass Knot mattered. Grass Knot, Xerneas takes less hits takes fewer hits to KO. And Cramorant. So Cramorant is the better defensive check. So it goes to Cramorant. Perfect. I knew that. That's why it's there on my plan. The calc was wrong. So I guess that's maybe something I should report after this. We go into Iron Valiant now. That U-turn broke the sash on Cramorant. So Valiant, even without the booster energy active, comes in at KOs. This is the second and only other possible bad odds on the whole of the E4. The first one was that Gripper turn with Naganadel. This can bad odds into Xerneas now because of without booster energy, I'm not fast to it KOing. Earlier on I was. It couldn't bad odds out earlier against Spiritomb. Now it can because there's no booster energy active. And it doesn't. We get 0 bad odds in this E4. But now it will always go into Xerneas for a slow Oko. And that's Cramorant down. That's a demon. That thing takes KOs. That thing does damage you don't expect. Okay, so here if this is a bit of a weird one. So Xerneas comes in because it has a slow Oko with Moonblast. However, if should setup is true, because of the power herb, Geomancy outscores a slow KO. So here it wants Geomancy. If it had bad odds in, it would have taken 18% from Thunder Punch. Then my best move, Poison Jab, 2 hits does 90%. So it would have seen it was fast to hit KO'd. So should setup would have been false. So at that point, it would have clicked Moonblast. At that point, it would have clicked Moonblast. It's weird, maybe slightly counterintuitive, but it doesn't want to KO me here. It wants to set up. Either way, we was going to Scavalier. Either way, it was going to be fine. But should set up is true here because it hasn't taken any damage, so I don't fast to it KO it. So it should be clicking Geomancy. It does. Perfect. So now it's at +2s and Spadef in special attack and in speed. And it thinks that it KOs me with Hidden Power Fire because it would KO me if I wasn't holding the Occa Berry. That means it's always going to be clicking Hidden Power Fire here. Garchomp can't actually even switch in on me. I just hit that hard. So it doesn't have a bad odds option anyway. Heatran was the only one if it was still alive. But it wouldn't have been able to bad odds it here because it thinks it KOs me. And I just KO with Double Iron Bash. 100%, 100.2%. You have to be adamant for this, but it's always riskless. I'm Shell Armor. I can't get crit killed, even though this can do up to 88%. There's my Occa Berry. Let's see what HP I end up at. Okay, great. It's cool. I can't Pokeball off this. Can't heal a Scavalier to full. And a Scavalier takes the Xerneas. Scavalier has taken 2 of the Demon Fairies, Xerneas and Grimmsnarl. It could have taken Curem if I could get the right switch in. I just couldn't get it in. The way my line worked out, it was just the snow was always going to be up. If snow was down, Scavalier was going to take Curem easily as well. It's good mon, good E4 mon. Now it's Garchomp. And you might think it's random move. It's not random move. Stone Edge has an accuracy problem, so it's not Stone Edge. It's always Scale Shot, Earthquake. Scale Shot is seen as neutral. It's not seen as a boosting move or a negative move because it has both. It has both things, so it's just seen as neutral. Doesn't matter either way. We just go to Whimsicott. But yes, this should always be EQ. Yep, EQ. And then we click Encore. And then it's always clicking EQ, but we're a bit slow to kill here. We're not going to waste all that time. We're going to click U-turn as it's clicking EQ. We're going to go into my Levitate Mon, my Latias. And that makes EQ miss. And Draco Meteor, Latias is faster. Soldew, Draco Meteor is a guaranteed KO. Cynthia done. Did Latias just crit that? Latias loves to drop a Draco, huh? Oh, it's going to be doing that on champs. Okay, I cannot Pokeball here. I cannot heal a Cavalier here. But there you go. Cynthia. That's Cynthia damage. That I know you use Encore, but like, you know, it's Cynthia. You're still supposed to take more damage than that from the Xerneas and the well, the Xerneas did do damage, but from like the Zamazenta, Zamazenta's still supposed to be a problem. Okay, I can't heal. I cannot heal a Scavalier. I cannot heal a Scavalier. It's the only thing that needs to be pre-damaged. And I can't heal it above 79 HP. So I think I can just Super Potion, but I will double check the Empoleon's in a minute, damage into it in a minute. Let me just heal everything else. Okay. Alright, they're both there. Okay, so let's just check this turn 1. How much do you see? If I'm currently at 38. I want you. I mean, it doesn't actually matter what you click, but it matters what you click. I want you to be clicking Scald and not Flip Turn. I could have made it guaranteed flip turn, so I could have potentially done some stuff that was a little bit different. But yeah, this is going to be Scald. Okay. Super Potion puts me to 78, which is guaranteed Scald. Perfect. And do you see a KO? Yeah. If I go to 78. Yeah, 79. You know what? I'm going to be safer than that, just in case there's some weird ranges here. I'm just going to Oranberry a couple times. Let's go to 68. That works. Okay. Scavalier is going to be on the left. Iron Valiant is going to be on the right, and I need to change all sorts of items here. This champ fight, it was actually very important I had 6 mons here, because this is going to be an absolute sack fest. We are going blow for blow. And yeah, we are going to be sacking stuff here. Escavalier gets Endure. Endure lets you live any turn, basically. You can take multiple hits from on the turn. You will always live with 1 HP. What move am I getting rid of? X Scissor. It doesn't matter. All I'm clicking here is Endure. And because I'm at this range and Scavalier's so slow, they're all going to see fast kills into a Scavalier, so it makes them want to target a Scavalier all the time. And my item is going to be Rawstberry, because I'm taking a Scald. I don't want I don't want it to burn and then kill me. I want to be there for the second turn as well. Iron Valiant is going to be Choice Band here. No more booster energy. We're going Choice Band. And your moves, you need knockoff apparently. I mean, you don't. You just click close combat, but we can give you knockoff. And Shadow Sneaks. Okay, you're good. Whimsicott. So I already gave you one of the moves that you want. I gave you Fake Tears last time. Now, you also want Tickle. It doesn't actually come up, but I thought it would have been cool to use it. It doesn't get to use it, but it's fine. Tickle. And Moonblast. And I don't need Encore. I'll keep U-Turn. I don't think it comes up either, but it's fine. And your item is the Berry Berry, because I would like to have a chance at living a Steel type move. Latias is going to be Choice Specs. And I'm going to teach you Dragon Pulse and Shadow Ball just in case something goes wrong. And I don't want to be spamming Dracos. And Shadow Ball is for the Metagross potentially. Okay. Pyroar, you are Expert Belt. And your moves are Overheat, Hyper Beam, Hyper Voice, and Willow Wisp. Hyper Voice, yep, there. I'll give you Willow Wisp as a backup again. Okay. Hyper Voice, Overheat, Hyper Beam, Willow Wisp, yep. And Basque Legion is going to be Choice Scarfed. And this is probably one of the more fun techs for this fight. Going to be Choice Scarfed, and I need to teach you Final Gambit. Final Gambit on a one with base 125 HP means I have more HP than everything on their team when I'm at full health. So Basque Legion can take its pick of what it wants to KO with Final Gambit. It just means it's going down with it. But with these primals, if you can take a straight 1-for-1 trade, you are taking a straight 1-for-1 trade. Okay, so let's double check the moves. And Raspberry, close combat, double iron bash, and knock off endure. Endure is the only important one. Valiant, close combat, spirit break, knock off shadow sneak. Choice band, yep. Babiri berry, tickle faked his U-turn moonblast, yeah. Draco psychic, shadow ball, dragon pulse, and your specs. Expert belt, pyro, overheat, hyper beam, overheat, hyper voice, will o wisp, yeah. Basque Legion, final gambit, wave crash, spirit chapel. I don't think I'm wiping now. I think we're okay. There's a little bit of there's a couple of ranges and stuff that can be missed, but I'm pretty sure that I've got 6 mons. I think 3 are guaranteed to die, but it's fine. 3, I think 2 are guaranteed to live, so usually 3 live. All right. Scavalier on the left is important because it baits Dialga. Well, it means that Valiant. Wait, is that right? Let's double check. Yeah, because Valiant would bait Metagross, so I just want Valiant on the right, out of the way. But I mean, people can still steal these strats. It's not on the sheet. Burak used Dugong, Screamtail, everything like before on one of his non-sheet runs, and what started coming up in every E4? Dugong. Screamtail as well. I took Screamtail. He had Mega T-Tail and Screamtail. They were both in my team. My first one. All right. I'm pretty sure we're fine. 68 HP is always going to bait kills on this first turn. Before they Mega, we are fine. Which means that the Imperium cannot protect. Let's run it. I've seen what they have to say already multiple times, 2-time champ. I don't need to read that, but okay. So, Empoleon O is on the left, Empoleon D is on the right. This first turn, Escavalier is showing kills to both of them. Fast kills. Iron Valiant is also dead to the defensive Empoleon Flash Cannon. Doesn't matter because I'm slower with Escavalier. I'm going to click Endure. It's going to be Liquidation and it's going to be Scald. Scald could burn. If I was in flip turn range, that one would want to click flip turn. He loves to click flip turn, but I don't want Dial coming in on turn 2. I want it to come in on turn 3. So I made sure I was in Scald range. I've got Raspberry, so I can't die to the burn with Endure. Valiant is going to close combat KO the offensive Apollyon. I don't know if anyone came up with these strats. Because this is a sack fest. This is an absolute sack fest. But Endure is not used enough in double battles because obviously you end up probably losing them on or baiting random moves. Liquidation, 1 HP, endured the hit. Close combat, dead. And that will send in Palkia after this. Now it's going to be Scald. Endure. Even though I'm already at 1 HP. Burn. Don't care. Raspberry. Thank you. Right. So now, again, they both see fast kill into a Scavalier. They're going to go into a Scavalier. And thanks to the way that the AI works, you can kind of predict what they're going to go for. This Empoleon the defensive Empoleon wants to click flip turn. Because it gets the boosted score on it. Otherwise, it would have been scored for the status chance, like it did on the last time, because it's now in range for that. Palkia, it's not going to click Hydro Pump. It's going to click any of the other 3 moves. Oh, did you use it? I actually didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. But here we go. Like, Palkia is round 1 of 3 moves. I don't want to risk switching in on a random 1 of 3 moves. This is Escavalier's time to go. So 7s for Escavalier. This E4 was made so much easier by Escavalier. I couldn't bring Goldengo because I needed Escavalier, and the type overlap with the steel types was not. It just wasn't going to work. I needed some of the fire resist and the water resist for Latias, and yeah. Escavalier I'm not going to click Endure. I don't remember if there's a chance it can work. It might be like Protect where it's 33%. It might just fail. But I'm not going to click Endure. I want to faint here. I'll just click Close Combat. And I am Valiant. It's going to Close Combat KO this Empoleon this time. And because it does that before it can move, I'm not taking 2 hits on the other slot, or there's no like Palkia hit that's going to go into Iron Valiant. It's just going to be KO and a Escavalier here. It goes for Earth Power. 07. Oh, it's 50%. Okay. Yeah, well, I wanted the Escavalier to die here. Dialga is about to come in on the right. I don't know 100% how this works, because I had this on Drake where I sacked him on, and then the switch in was looking at an empty slot. So, like I said, I don't actually know what it looks at. But no matter what, whether it looks at the empty slot and it's just like, oh, there's nothing there, I'm just going to send in the next in the party, that's Dialga. If it looks at what was there, that's a Escavalier. If it looks at what I switch in, which it shouldn't, because it shouldn't get that kind of advantage, because we should be making this decision at the same time. Basculegion is also Dialga. Basculegion is still coming in here. Okay. If it was looking at Valiant, it would have been Metagross. So that does confirm that it's not just going to kind of default to what is there on that slot. Okay. Basculegion is holding a Choice Scarf. Like I said, Basculegion can KO anything in this fight. It just has to go with it. So it's going to click Final Gambit, and it's going to KO the Dialga. And the reason I'm going for the Dialga is because it's more consistent baiting. Final Gambit, Dialga. Iron Valiant is at -2. Everything here sees kills into Valiant. Basculegion doesn't show any kills. At -2, this is always Earth Power. It can't be Hydro Pump because it's got accuracy problems. I don't know why I say it like that, but Hydro Pump can miss. It's not Hydro Pump. It's always Earth Power, which means that Valiant can actually switch out. I'm not going to be stacking Valiant here. Valiant can switch out into Latias, which has Levitate. Basculegion, 07. But take that Dialga with you. Oko that Dialga! Who thought giving Final Gambit to a base 125 HP mon was a good idea? And that is a Basculegion KO. I'll make sure that goes on. I can't track the KOs for Valiant and Latias, but I have tracked those KOs. Okay. So then, what's going to happen in that last slot after this Earth Power is that it has to go to Metagross. That's all that's left in the party. So on my slot, I am switching in Whimsicott. Okay, so this board state. Palkia sees no KOs onto Whimsicott. It sees Spatial Rend KO onto Latias. Latias is choice specs. You can see Draco Meteor does 50%. Latias is just dead, isn't it? It's only going to get 50% off. I could switch. I could bait it. Fairy. I'm baiting a Dragon move. I could switch back into the Fairy type in the back. Yeah, I could do that. But Whimsicott has Fake Tears. So Whimsicott is going to be able to put Palkia down to -2 special defense, and Latias, which outspeeds both of these, is going to be able to Draco Meteor for exactly 100%. What's the Metagross going to do? Well, Metagross doesn't see a KO into Latias. It technically doesn't see a KO into Whimsicott because of my berry. However, if I wasn't holding the berry, Meteor Mash would see a KO. Only Meteor Mash. So it still thinks it KOs. It ignores the berry for scoring purposes and for all its decision making. It scores this as a KO. So it's not a random move here. It's not just going to go for the highest damage of Ice Punch and Ice Punch or into either slot. It's going to click Meteor Mash, and if I don't get crit, Whimsicott is going to live and it's going to get an extra attack off that it wouldn't usually. And while still guaranteeing the targeting, which is the important part. Because if like Latios was to get hit by an Ice Punch here, yeah, it might not KO it, but I might get Frostbitten and then I'm like my whole line's messed up. But Whimsicott, as long as I don't get crit, it doesn't matter if I do have backups. If I do get crit and killed, it would be cooler if I don't. It's going to get an extra attack off thanks to this berry and guaranteed targeting at the same time. Like you can run focus sash and make sure you live and get a second hit, but it's going to be random target, and we don't want that. We want fake tears here, Draco here, prankster so that I'm moving before Latias. I would be slower. Special defense Hearty drops. Latias drops the Draco on the Palkia. It is dead. Both primals O-code back-to-back turns. Maybe a little bit unfairly, like there's a bit of a setup in there, but both primals O-code, and it should be Meteor Mash. Berry. This means it's connected. Does it crit? Doesn't crit, so the tech works. I get an extra turn, which is very, very cool. Okay, so now this turn, they obviously see KOs into Whimsicott. So what I am going to be doing is Latias is free to basically do whatever it wants. Into Whimsicott, they are seeing Ice Punch because of status, and they are seeing Ice Beam because of status. So Whimsicott is going to get its last little move off. It's going to click Fake Tears. Again, Prankster. It's fast on these two anyway, but it's going to get another Fake Tears off onto Suicune. And Latias is at -2, so it gets to do whatever it wants here. I'm going to switch out into Pyroar. One of these is going to KO the Whimsicott. I believe it's Suicune is going to KO the Whimsicott with Ice Beam, and then Ice Punch is going to go into Pyroar. And it could Frostbite me, which means I don't get the KOs that I want on this turn, but it's not going to matter in the end. Yep. So now Suicune's at -2. Whimsicott 07. Metagross Ice Punch. Don't give me the Frostbite. Make this cooler. Perfect. So I did originally go for Aspear Berry, but then it was going to be range miss, and it was safer to go for Expert Belt and guarantee the range, because if Whimsicott died, I would have just been sending in Pyro there and just KO in Metagross, and not having the whole tech. There's this friction, but this is going back to Latias, and now Suicune's at -2 defense, -2 special defense. Latias Draco Meteor -2 special defense, 118%. And then the final hit, Metagross, Assault Vest Metagross. It's pretty bulky. Pretty bulky mon. Overheat, Expert Belt, 117%. This is it. I outspeed both. I O-code both. We O-code every single mon on this fight, including both primals. Latias, drop the Draco. Pyroar, the unassuming E4 GOAT for this run, I think, gets the KO. That's the final KO with Overheat. Guaranteed. And that's it. Champ fight done. It was a sack fest. I sacked 3, but it was all planned. It all kind of worked to an end. And there we go. New game plus defeated. 6 uniques if people want to steal some strats. Pyroar, I do actually really recommend. I think it was a little bit fiddly to use, but the damage it does with Choice Scarf, the normal type in, is really good. And I think that the way it interacts with Calyrex is actually really helpful. If you just have a dark type, I was switching into Latias and Sideshock. If you just have a dark type, you can guarantee like the nasty plot and break the sash, and then just switch into dark type on Sideshock and you sucker punch. That's the freest Calyrex ever. I had a little bit of risk on mine, but yeah. Thank you. I'm glad we won our run. I dodged both bad odds. The second one didn't matter, but I dodged the bad odds on the gripper. We did see the gripper. Didn't matter. But yeah, Valiant, definitely a restricted mon that can be champed. It's obviously really good onto like just the generic mons, like on Sydney. It was pretty good onto Glacier Snow. It's obviously great onto champ fight, close combat, just KOs the Empoleons. It would have 2-hit KO'd Palkia if I wanted to do that, if I could like carry on baiting slow kills. But because it was faster, and Scavalier is kind of the only one that could guarantee the damage ranges with after the Xerneas, then yeah. There was one, I think there was on the Xerneas, if I had the bad odds line, where Xerneas bad odds after Cramorant, and then it didn't click Geomancy, there was one single roll that left Scavalier on 80 HP, and Empoleon O, before it Mega Evolves, Liquidation is max 79 HP. I just said, fuck it, that's fiction, and it's not going to happen. So there was a roll there where I was like, well, a champ fight might have not worked, where like it wasn't going to be the guaranteed hit on that first turn with liquidation onto the Empoleon. But we didn't have to worry about that. It never bad odds, and I didn't get the min roll, so there's fiction. But I mean, that shows you that like you can kind of go in with a little bit of risk in there. Most of the time, it's going to be fine. It just kind of depends how much you want to take. If you plan everything else out, then and you're just happy with that bit of risk, you can do it. But what have I got next? 3 pluses. I don't know if I'm going to get to 4 pluses. I don't know if I'll do 3 pluses. I've already like on. I'm now. I would if 3 pluses, you'd have none of the encounters on them, like the Reggie caves. I didn't have any slabs. You get like no fishing encounters. Um, you basically get no water types. But I don't think I'm going to do 3 pluses. Um, maybe I'll try and up the challenge and go back to just the normal encounter rules set. Um, and make the I don't think I can do one death reset. I think it's just I think I am always prone to make a weird mistake, and I don't want to punish myself for it. I don't want to put in the extra time to plan. It's supposed to be a bit of a fun, casual thing. Like now that it's not sheet runs and where I can just kind of show off a few things and use some different stuff. I don't want the pressure to to be there. Um, I'll come and grab this screenshot afterwards. I think because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it right now. I can try. I did not get that. That definitely changed. Oh, I did get it. Oh, cool. Yeah, there we go. Um, what's your rule set? Yeah, I might go back to Lucid. I did start Lucid, and I lost Togue and just kind of like stopped. I lost Togue on, I think, the double battle with like the Nido Queen and Nido King just after Slate Port. Um, and I was like, oh, it was my only death. It was my first death, and I was like, oh, and it was just a really simple doubles mistake just from learning doubles, and I just kind of gave up on it. I might go back and try it again if I can get my head around the doubles. Then the single fights do look cool. Um, I like terror and stuff. I think that's cool. Uh, so I might, but the main reason I stopped is because I was still trying to play FIFA a lot. But I stopped playing FIFA already. I expected to be playing it loads, and it's just not been fun this year. So I already stopped playing that, which means I do have a bit more time for it. I thought if I was going to be playing a game, I was literally going to be doing like an hour a day for it, maybe not even an hour every day, some days. Um, but I do have a bit more time just for this if I am going to start a new game. Oh, okay, yeah. The Circle of Fire rule sets, yeah. Um, yeah, I'll have a look. Because I think Max did send me a patch where I could just do random IVs as well. Um, so I might be able to just do that built in. Maybe that is the next way of doing it. But yeah, thank you. That was a fun run. It was attempt 5. Like the first few attempts, it was early game hell. Because you just get like triple me out on this. What my encounters were. Um, but the team was cool, and I mean, there's some uniques there that are definitely really good. Uh, obviously, everyone knows Whimsicott was good. Escavalier was Meteor Falls. I don't think people were ever obviously doing that. Obviously, Toaster side kind of bit of a trend with people going for the old rod, but I went for good rod because Escavalier um, is 66% on good rod, 33% on old rod. I think Escavalier is a really good E4 mon. It's probably just a matter of time before it gets champed for the sheet. Um, yeah, it was a fun squad. Um, Basque Legion is really good. I think it can do a lot more than that. I think it can do whatever you want. It kind of functioned as a Dugong light, but with damage, and obviously it takes more. But like, it actually has a matchup into restaurant, which Dugong doesn't. But like flip turns doing 30% is so much chip. You can kind of when you have that on a ghost type, it's just so free to get in and out. Latias is good. Uh, it recovers and 1v1s more stuff. It doesn't nuke stuff. Um, but it's clearly functioned. Um, it does need help with like chip for some of the KOs. But it's a good bulky mon. Valiant's good. Not perfect. It's not no Gallade. Like if you have Gallade, use Gallade. But Valiant is good. Pyro. I hope you end up on the sheet someday because you was very very good. You was a very cool revelation to see be so cool in the calcs. that'll be me ending. I don't know what's next, but we'll see. Thank you all for watching. I probably will be firing up a stream at some point and doing something at some point. So I will post it when I do.